All right. I'm not doing transcript today because whatever. Anyways, hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Paranormal. I am one of your hosts, Rachel, and then we've got
Kaz. Well, I don't know what just happened to my screen. It
hey there.
super jumped forward. Okay, whatever. I wonder if we'll get the mysterious thumbs up thing today. We didn't get it last time, so obviously the ghost didn't like the last one we did.
But it says here, what is this? Send a react. I could send a reaction. Let me send a reaction. I didn't send a reaction the last time.
No, do it and see if it's the reaction. No. Oh, but do the thumb one. Is there a thumb one? No, see, it's not. That's what came last time. It was a translucent, weird thumb, but it was big.
I know. Is it an iPhone thing?
But I don't even know. But I wasn't touching my phone. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Bear with us, everybody. Here, I'll do this. No, that wasn't it either.
That's weird.
I don't know. Okay, spirits of review with us. Can you do the happy thumbprint thing?
Give us a thumbs up. My cowboy hat likes to keep popping up.
I wondered what that thing was in the background.
Cowboy hat. Sometimes it looks like I'm wearing it.
Weird.
Well, there's not much going on in the world today for us. Well, we did do an investigation last night at a new place, but we're not sharing that information just yet because we have to wait for permission. Because the location had us, well, we had them sign a confidentiality agreement. So we just have to wait till they approve everything. But we can tell you where we went. I went to the Whitchurch Stouffville Museum.
Ooh.
In Whitchurch Stouffville, so just outside of Uxbridge, Ontario. So that's where we went. I can tell you that much.
Very cool. I'm excited to see the videos and the recordings.
It was something else. Jay's home. Anyways, yeah, definitely something else. So, but and then we had a full moon too, so that was even better.
It was beautiful. I couldn't capture it where I was, but it was honestly this like beautiful pink red moon.
Yeah, I didn't see the pink. I just was able to take a picture.
Well, this was at probably around 8 o'clock at night. So right at dusk. And the moon was massive. And I was like, oh my God, look at the moon. But where we were, you could just see it kind of by the trees. And as we were moving, we were getting lower and lower. And I'm like, oh. And so I just couldn't get a picture of it. And I have an iPhone. So the iPhone it will try and brighten it and will ruin it. But then no, yours was beautiful. And then the moon was so bright. Like we did not need a light on in the house. It was so bright.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I didn't see it rise because I was busy looking for dead people. So
that's okay.
And for those of you who don't have a boat by following us, in like 4 days from now, we will be somewhere else, not in this country. Yeah. So
that's an excited sigh, but also what?
Just wait. It's broccoli, Jay. We just came in the house and it smells like broccoli.
Oh,
it smells like ass. Oh my God. But yeah, so our next recording is actually be recorded live on location. And this one is gonna come out a little early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I can't put it on the I'm gonna be too busy on Saturday. So
no, that's fine. That's no problem at all.
Yeah. So today's topic
is a goodie.
I know. I just wonder what my dog was doing for a few seconds.
Oh. I thought you were just like completely blanked. So I'm like,
no,
trying to say.
No, she's just sniffing around. Anyways, yeah, today's topic, what makes a haunted house? I know.
You think we'll probably finish this podcast with more questions than actual answers, but because I'm pretty sure that's what we investigate for and haven't really come up with a very solid answer.
No, there's lots of theories and lots of reasons why we might think.
Yeah.
But you know, what really makes it? Like, what's the checklist? Like, does it have to have everything on the checklist? Does it have to have some things on the checklist? Is it one thing out of 10? Like, what is it?
So I think one thing we should dispel right away is it doesn't have to be really old and it doesn't have to look really creepy, because there's been places that we've gone into that are new.
Mhm.
And sorry, there's a weird light that just came into my room. Is it a ghost? Yeah, we walked into some places that are really new and have been really scary.
Mm-hmm. And we've
So,
been to some places that you wouldn't even think,
mhm.
and it is. Right?
And then you have places that, are very old and
Mhm.
really have nothing going on.
Mhm.
So let's get to some theories, I guess.
All right. Do you have one at first?
I do. Probably one that you've already looked into, which is called the stone tape theory.
Mhm.
And this has been around for almost 200 years. And it's the theory that stones, so rocks, can record images, events, memories, very similar to how a tape recorder would record it,
Mhm.
and play it back on a loop. So the actual science behind it is questionable. Um, Really, because they haven't gone into a lot of in-depth thing of how it is.
Mhm.
But essentially that an imprint can be made onto a stone. And then that stone will hold onto this imprint
Mhm.
and replay it over and over again. So if, say, very traumatic happened and imprinted on that stone.
Mhm.
And if we're thinking of homes back in the day, were typically made of either wood or stone base. A lot of them had stone um, foundations,
Mhm.
and this imprint is made. Then this recording is going to play on a loop until the end of time, or until
Yeah.
the recording runs out. And that is where we get these residual hauntings from, which would be when you see something almost on a loop, like it happens over and over again. The maid comes in, she's doing something in the kitchen, and then she walks through the wall and disappears.
Mhm.
um and so this, again, like we said, there's not much science necessarily to it, but in the paranormal community, it has been a theory that has floated around, no pun intended, for about 200 years.
Yeah.
And it is just something that has become sort of a mainstream theory
Mhm. Mhm.
that these materials, so it doesn't have to necessarily just be stone, but stone seems to be, I don't know, the key piece here.
Limestone.
Yeah,
Limestone. That's why Kingston is one of the most haunted cities in this province.
right.
St. Mary's, for example, too. Everything's made of
Exactly.
limestone. Yep.
And crystals, so like
Mhm.
rock quartz as well. They just seem to hold on to.
Oh, you froze.
Can you? Did I unfreeze?
Yeah, you did. You're like,
Okay. I'm just solidifying a face for the faces of our podcast because I'm sure it looked delightful.
great.
Oh
Perfect. I can't wait to find that picture.
my gosh. Um, anyway, so yes, so essentially materials can hang on to a looped sort of
Mhm.
portion of time that will play over and over again. And people tap into it or walk into this frequency and suddenly something's happening and they see this image or get this
Mhm.
feeling. And that can explain why a place is considered haunted.
Mhm.
Next theory.
That's perfect. I can't wait.
I'm dropping my earpiece. Oh gosh. What is
Oh,
happening? Technical
Lord.
difficulties.
Lord, Lord, Lord. So one of my theories that we always kind of go through, especially when we do investigations, is the theory that buying
Hmm.
an antique can bring in somebody to the house. or
Yeah.
the place of business or wherever you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, and I think too, is a lot of new places can also, end up with some type of paranormal activities because you just bought a ghost, literally,
Uh-huh.
right? So people are attached to their things.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than when you're living, right? You have items that you're attached to, like a family heirloom, your favorite pair of pants, whatever, right? Like, I don't know, I've never heard of a haunted pair of pants, but hey, you never
It could
know.
happen.
We should start that. It's not the sisterhood of the traveling pants anymore.
It's the spirit hood.
What
Whoa.
is we could call it paranormal pants.
Oh, paranormal pants.
Then they'd be like parachute pants.
Trademark it right now. Cannot steal that idea. Damn.
Well then, anyway. So, but yeah, so like purchasing an antique can possibly bring somebody in. And we've been to a lot of places where we've encountered that, where someone is attached to an item and they've kind of stick with it and they check up on it and all that kind of stuff. So
Absolutely.
but yeah,
100%.
one of my theories.
I love it though. Now, I also think people themselves, so if you are let's say intuitive or an empath, or you just maybe are at a certain vibration, you can walk into a place and act almost like a beacon for spirits, almost like you start stirring up the spirits. Or like I said, you act like sort of a shining light and suddenly the spirit's like, oh my god, what's over there, let's go have a look. Like a fluff to a mame is what I was
Yeah.
gonna say, a moth to the flame.
This is gonna be a great episode.
Right? Exactly. What
Oh my
is
god,
in
I
my
just
drink?
EP24's on my screen in front of me, and I just looked up and I thought this lady was naked pumping gas, but she was wearing like this pink track, like peachy track.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
I need more sleep. But anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. What is happening with this one today?
Oh.
And so I think sometimes people, and then they will start to sense stuff, and that can open up almost, I don't want to say a doorway or a portal to things, but suddenly they can start bringing it in.
Yeah.
We hear of this all the time where houses existed for years and years and years, nothing, and then someone moves in and all of a sudden all hell starts to break loose. And it's like, what is it about you or this family? And it could just be either the person themselves is an intuitive, like I said, or an empath and bringing in the energy, or them themselves are something that the spirit is interested in. For example, the hot blonde that a certain spirit has fixated on and like. So if someone reminds, a spirit of them, because we have no idea if spirits are moving around us all the time.
Yeah.
And we just don't always see. And then all of a sudden, if they're like, oh, I like the look of this one, and then they start making themselves known because they're like, what brings you here?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh my god. But a good like example of, a place that's been around for a long time that nothing happened until somebody moved in is the Hinsdale house.
Yeah.
Because
unless
they never reported like before, right? Because we don't know. The first family to have an issue was the Dandy family that moved in the 70s.
Right.
Was there anything before that? Like, was it because maybe some of the Dandy, like the children in the family had abilities and they were able to, all of these spirits were like, whoo, they can see and talk to us.
Right.
Or was it just nobody said anything until they moved in and they opened up their mouths to share their experiences? Like,
right. Is it because they brought in a different kind of religion maybe and angered some of this, like, we don't know. But something triggered their timeline of events.
And it's been reported ever since. Except for the family that moved in at some point, the last family that lived there, I don't think they said they had anything, but they also said at the beginning that they told the dead people that you don't bother us, we don't bother you. And they lived and they cohabitated quite nicely, I
Right.
guess. Right?
And I mean, that goes into the whole theory of some people just are not open to it.
Yeah.
And if they're just not, stuff could happen, but they're not jumping immediately to the it's a ghost theory. They're
Mhm.
just like, okay, that glass fell off the table because the floorboard moved or something, right?
Yeah.
So again, if they're not say like thinking, oh, it must be a ghost, then
Yeah.
they're not going to contribute it to that. And that goes into another theory that I have of the fact that a house is not haunted, but someone is creeped out enough because sometimes you can be in a situation where it's dark and your senses get really heightened and all of a sudden all bets are off. You are no longer rational and you're not
No.
thinking, and so then immediately it's dead people chasing you. And I believe there's quite a few
Zombies.
times, right, I do believe that quite a few hauntings that are reported are actually not
Mhm.
spiritual activity. It is just literally someone getting
Well,
overly excited, or they they've heard that the place is haunted, or they're like, it's old, so it must be haunted, and then
mhm.
they jump to these conclusions, and then immediately
But another
everything's a
thing with that
ghost.
too is if it's your own house, like there's the human mind and like the brain is incredible, and we throw out energy wherever we go, and
Hmm.
telekinesis and stuff does technically exist. Like there
Hmm.
is such a thing. So, are you putting that much energy out there that you're moving your keys and you're moving
Uh-huh.
that glass of water and you're making that door shut and you don't even realize it because you're not consciously doing it, right?
Hmm.
You know, then again, that's not a ghost. That's just you. You the ghost.
Exactly. But if we're thinking, like, I am very much in the belief that a spirit is energy. Like, we are energy, and when we
Mhm.
die, our physical being withers away, and that energy is released. And now it is everywhere and anywhere and doing whatever, doing stuff. Um, so while we're still in human form, we're still energetic beings. And some people are just very, like, omit a lot of
Mhm.
energy for the good or bad, however you want to look at it. You know those people because you get near them and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And so in that case, it could be ricocheting off of stuff
Yeah.
and moving doors or doing whatever. So it's like a pre-haunting because technically it's a spirit, but that spirit is still alive.
It's
Does that make sense?
oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And
No.
another like reason why a location can be haunted, like a brand new house.
Hmm.
No one's ever lived in it. You're the first person. It was built for you. It was built for you. Um, could be the land.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that, the land itself, there had to have been a house right there. It could have been anywhere on the land because now you're on somebody's property. And that
Hmm.
somebody might be coming back to be like, why is this house here? Who's in this house? Who's this on my property?
Hmm.
We've had a
Or
lot of
even the property itself.
that.
So soil is very what's the word? Like, it can capture memories in it, right?
Mhm.
And those memories can, like, say if someone's hurt and bleeds into the soil, you're changing the physical and chemical properties of that soil. And so the ground itself could hold on to memories, again, sort of very similar to the stone tape theory.
Mhm.
And then as you start to dig to, I don't know, build a house, up comes all those memories and you stir everything up, and now your house is haunted. Congratulations. Or there was a property on the place, such as, oh gosh, Whitby Asylum. No,
Yes, the
yes, that's
Whitby
what it
site.
was.
Yeah.
So those buildings that were there for a long time that saw a lot of things happen were
Mhm.
torn down, and then it was just land. And then townhouses were built there. And
Subdivisions.
yeah, you cannot tell me that people are not like, what the hell's going on? Because I'm quite sure, especially some areas,
Mhm.
um, are over the top of things that were not
Mhm.
pleasant that happened there. And I do not doubt that that land holds on to a lot of
Oh,
memories
I'm sure it does. I'm
from
sure it
events
does.
past.
Even when those cottages were still there, one of our team members was patrolling the
Yes.
area and he had some really weird and really strange experiences that he can't even begin to wrap his head around. Yeah. So I would like to know which one that was, and what house is now built on top of it.
Yeah, maybe we should just go knocking one day.
We'll just
Door to
canvass the
door.
neighborhood and drop off business cards.
I think we would have a lot of business from that area.
Possibly. I think one of my coworkers lives in that area. I should figure.
Oh, well,
I should
hit
talk.
them up.
Yeah. Well, she's a coworker within the school. She used to be my coworker, and then she moved departments. But she's somewhere within. I'll just have to go ask her again. But I know
Yes,
she lives down there. It'd be interesting.
and the other interesting thing about that specific location is that on the opposite side of the road is a brand new facility. And so you have people now in there who have a lot of emotional issues going on, let's say. So their energy is really high and they are vibrating at a really extreme rate because of what's going on over there. And that can also power up things too. So now you've got the old energies over one side of the road and the new energies that are fresh up there. And the two could collide. And they're right next to, which brings me to my next point, water. Because water is a very powerful conductor of energy. It's a massive energy source. And it is thought that, especially when water is in motion, it creates electromagnetic charge. And so that is something the spirits can maybe use to manifest. So if you're near water, especially fast moving water, it can help sort of bring energy to a haunting. And so if you've got a few things going on, you've got maybe some tragedy or something very traumatic that happened in the area, you've got rocks that have like held on to memories and energy, and then you've got the energy of the water nearby. Well, you've got yourself the makings of a haunting.
You're on the Kingston trolley tour now. I'm going to say this. This was just years ago, but we had a gentleman who was driving the trolley and he was giving this little ghost tour because we took the creepy tour. And we crossed over the big bridge. It's been shut down for a little. They were doing construction on it or fixing it up, but it was the big bridge that crosses over the St. Lawrence on to the other side of Kingston where Fort Henry is. And he was like, just so you know, everybody, that the ghost can't cross the water. And we're like, what the fuck told you that? Dude, man, that's like a highway for them.
Exactly.
Like they're taking it. Like
the ghosts are like, hold my beer. Here we go.
yeah. But yeah, that also, you know, a lot of these old places have indoor wells, and you know, they've got the streams and stuff that run underneath. Oh, look, you're choking. Don't die on me. You're good.
Ironically, I just had some water and it's trying to kill me. Oh,
well, isn't that ironic?
It really is. So we can tell that, man, spirits do live in water. They try to kill me.
But he was good at what he did, but he kept saying, I wonder. I wonder. I wonder.
Wonder no more. Water equals death.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, especially if you can't swim. So
anyways, you were saying before I tried to die.
I don't even remember.
I don't either because I was choking.
But no, but like, you know, a lot of old houses have open wells in the basement. They've got cisterns, they've got, you know, outside wells, they've got springs running underneath the property. Like all that kind of stuff can give whatever energies are still in the house, can give them more of the ability to manifest and do things because, you know, water is a conductor. Gosh, and you can make energy out of it. It's called hydrogen, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of older homes too were literally their houses stood on the dirt, like, and they just dug into the dirt and then they put sort of foundational bricks around, but the
Mhm.
the floor was still just dirt. So you're in the nature of it all.
You
There's,
in it.
no barrier between you and yeah. Here we're like so away from anything natural,
Mhm.
but there you're literally unearthing, and if you start digging away at layers and layers, what's beneath is sometimes something you don't want to know.
Yeah. Or disturb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you have any other theories?
I pretty much just went covered like three all at once there.
Yeah. We're
So I
damn.
mean, we we often go to places that have had really traumatic events in them.
Mhm.
And I think that's sort of the staple thing is, oh, if someone's died there, it has to be haunted. But
Mhm. No.
not necessarily. I
No.
mean, I would say if something really gruesome happened there, I don't know that it's haunted because the spirit wants to come back and see it. Is there, they feel like they're trapped there? Are they trying to change events? I don't know.
Mhm.
I think it's more that energy is time stamped there, and that's what you
Yeah.
feel. And we go into again that whole when you're heightened, then you start to kind of become a little less rational, and then it's everything's a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more just the feeling comes up, and you're like, oh, something's not right here. But I don't know that you can necessarily safely say that's a ghost.
Yeah.
But I do think
Yeah, definitely
events
residual.
timestamp it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely residual, and it could even just be a residual feeling. You could all of a sudden feel those, quick emotions of anxiety and panic, and then it goes away. Doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean it's paranormal and a ghost. It just means that you managed to just check in at that time to those
Mhm.
feelings, right? Um,
Exactly.
and like you said, like just because a murder happened someplace doesn't mean that place is haunted. You
Mhm.
know, I don't want to say we've been lucky to have that be able to connect those two things. I don't want to be lucky, but there's lots of places where murders have happened where nothing happens, right? Like
Mhm.
it's no different than a cemetery. Just because there
Yeah.
are dead people in the ground does not mean it's haunted. And usually cemeteries that are haunted aren't haunted by the people buried there. They're haunted by
Mhm.
the people that used to take care of the cemetery, right?
Yes,
So,
or of events that happened before that was a cemetery as
yeah.
well. Like
Yeah.
I've never same with morgues. I've never understood why people are like it was haunted. I'm like, but no one's died at a morgue.
It's like a
It's just
funeral home.
yeah, it's just the shell of the body. Oh, well, the ghost is with their body. No, what? Why would you? If you had the choice to go to the morgue and see your lifeless corpse in a probably not so flattering way, would you go? No, you'd be like, oh my God, I can go anywhere I want. Oh, Brad Pitt's house where he's in the shower. I don't know, whatever. I'm just saying, do what you want. But I really don't think you would go to the morgue, and I certainly don't think you would go to a cemetery to
No,
visit your grave. A
no.
funeral, I've heard, okay, I will say this. I went to a funeral of a beloved client of mine last year, and I know she was there. I know it. I could feel it. She was talking to me, and it was more because she was so worried because the people didn't have enough seats, and she was like she loved throwing big parties, so this was
Mhm.
like the ultimate one for her. So she was very stressed because people didn't have enough seats, and she was worried that the arrangements weren't right, and like silly
Mhm.
things, but that was just her.
Mhm.
And I think she went, kind of to see who went to say goodbye to her, but also that was just her personality, and all
Yeah.
of her loved ones were gathered,
Yeah.
and it was an emotional thing. And I think again, that emotion of it all, we're all thinking of her. I think it's like a beacon to
It
call
pulls
her
down.
in.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
I
It's just
think when we
nobody wants to
go
see
to
ghosts.
sorry, I was just gonna say when we go to haunted places, I think one of the things that makes us so successful is all the work you do researching, because then we're calling them by name, we're
Mhm.
asking for certain people. And I think that also helps them be like, oh my God, yes, I am here actually, as opposed to them just cruising
Yeah.
around, especially a pioneer village
Mhm.
where they have visitors all the time coming and going. And if there are spirits there, they're probably so used to it they don't bother interacting. But we walk in and we're like, Mr. and Mrs. Keen, are you here? They'll be like, "Wha- how do you know my
They
name?"
know my fucking name.
Yeah, and they're like, hold on a second. You want to interact with us after all these years?
Yeah.
So I think that also is
Yeah.
something that, I mean, it doesn't make a haunting, but I think it helps
Yeah.
with the haunting.
Yeah. It does. It does. It's just
Hmm.
there's so many different factors. And again, like how many factors have to be in play for it to be legit
Exactly.
haunted, you know?
Hmm.
And what's on the checklist to mark off that it's not haunted if you're experiencing all this kind of stuff, right? Like what have
Hmm.
you done to, debunk it first, right? We've done in the past, the Paranormal Seekers have done some private residence. We've had success with a few and a few others, not because there's a lot of people out there who really want their places to be haunted.
Hmm.
Everything, every sound, every creak, every groan of the house, every settling, every crack is a ghost. And it's
Hmm.
not. It's just your house settling. It's been in the sun all day and now it's cooler out at night. Of course you're going to have sounds.
Yeah.
Your pipes make noise, certain things make noise. Heck, my washing machine thinks it wants to be a spaceship someday, right? So, it's just, it's not like, oh my God, it's haunted. Like,
Hmm.
but
Our
yeah, so,
ice machine sometimes sounds like someone is walking in like heavy boots because it's like clunk, 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 but it sounds like tung, 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 like someone's walking. And a few times, even though you hear it all the time, and we've lived here for a while, every now and again you'll be like, "What the hell?" And then you clue in as to what it is.
yeah.
So yes, you're right. Like unless if you're in that mindset, you're terrified.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. And there's some people out
then
there who are just anxious people who are always terrified, especially, certain
oh yeah.
cultures have they're
Mm-hmm.
very high in superstitions with the paranormal and stuff. So anything that they can't logically explain right off the bat, they go straight to haunted and then they have to, whatever their culture does, to, ward off the haunting or
Mm-hmm.
ward off the ghost. So yeah, it's not just like a straight narrow topic. It just goes like
It's
everywhere.
really not. And like I said, the stone tape theory has been around for
Mhm,
200 years.
mhm.
And it's something that people refer to, but there's no scientific proof to it, but kind of also none
Well, when you
to
think about the
debunk
stone
it.
tape
So,
theory, how many castles in the UK are made out of limestone and
yeah.
God knows what other stones over there?
Mhm.
And I don't think I've heard of a castle in the UK that's not haunted.
N- No
But
kidding.
it also
I think
has,
they just come with ghosts.
I
I think
know,
that's just how it worked.
I know, but castles in the UK also have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years,
And
right?
most of them have a lot of tragic
Mhm.
events and horrific things that happened. So
Yeah.
they kind of check all the boxes. Most of them are
Sometimes
around
twice.
water as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
they
most castles have moats around them. They have moats.
mhm.
It's kind of like
Yeah,
Fort Henry.
they've got a lot going on.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. What other? Is there anything else that we did
I
land,
don't know. Well,
water, we did
I suppose
sea.
the other one would be if I don't know that I believe too much of this, but if people are opening portals and doing seances
No.
or whatever, blah blah. If you're doing things like that to welcome them in, then maybe that would
If you're a
do
paranormal
something.
investigator, you might be just doing the same damn thing anyways, and you don't even realize it. Oops.
Yes. Well, yes.
Every
That's
once in
what.
a while, there's a straggler, a
Oh
hitchhiker.
yeah.
I sleep through it. Jay doesn't, but I do. I like to sleep through everything. I've already said this weekend I get the big couch. No little couch for Rachel this weekend.
I don't know where I might sleep in that one room at the top of the stairs that I don't like.
Oh, where the hoot hoot came from.
Where the hooty hoots came from.
I can't wait to talk about that next time. Oh my god, it's gonna be great. Yeah, so
We got a lot going on.
no. But yeah, so
Well,
that's pretty much theories of
I think so.
haunted places and why
And
they're haunted.
For the record, where we will be next Friday is literally dug into the dirt with
Mhm.
stone walls in the basement
Mhm.
next to water.
Yeah.
With tragedy of the land.
It's
And
just
it's old.
it's a perfect storm. Just,
And there was death that happened there and tragedy around.
Mhm.
Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Shit out pants.
I can't wait to do that.
I know. I'm excited? Question mark? I don't know. I am. I'm
It would be
ready.
nice to figure out why that place is haunted.
I know. This will be our first question.
Yeah.
And probably we will ask it many times throughout the night.
Yeah. And
I might not like the answer.
yeah, probably not. And maybe we should make sure we get you a better weapon this time instead of just a pair of scissors.
You know what's so funny is when I was reviewing the videos, we're sitting there at one point, and the event must have happened because we're about to go upstairs, and Allison's like, I'm really on edge, I don't want to go. And I'm like, you don't have to worry. I got a pair of scissors. No one's doing shit. And then
Give him a haircut.
that's what I said. I'm like, I'm gonna cut those motherfuckers some bangs.
That's
I'm like,
amazing. That's
oh
amazing.
Lord.
Oh my god, that would totally make a haunted.
Yeah. Well,
Oh shit.
we shall maybe fashion some spears from sticks before the nighttime falls.
Well, we're also gonna have to
I will
figure out a few other
honestly.
things too.
I'm just gonna throw that nun doll at them if anyone comes in. That would be more terrifying than anything. So
Just
we're all
throw it
good.
and be like, save me, sister
Yeah,
Claire.
exactly.
Save me. Just chuck it.
May the power of Christ compel you.
Oh my god. We're awful.
Yay. I know.
Oh my god. That's gonna be us to Ryan.
He says he's gonna throw the dolls out of that other place. I'm bringing four. I have 4 dolls now. 4. 2 of them are gonna stay. The other 2 are coming back with me.
Donating.
Kaz is walking home. She's not bringing them in the truck.
We'll like pin her business card to the underneath. So when someone picks it up, they're like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly.
We don't make places haunted.
Oh no, there we go.
But yeah, so that is our podcast for today. And like I said,
Mhm.
If you have a theory of, why you think or what makes a haunting like in a place, let us know if we didn't touch on it.
Mhm.
You can post in the comments, you can send us an email at paranormalpodcast@gmail.com. That's PAREHNORMAL podcast@gmail.com. Because we's Canadian, eh? But yeah. Or you could, message us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TikTok. We're there too. Fun times. It's where our beautiful faces end up all the time.
Exactly. If you have not seen the Faces of Podcast or whatever it's called, you have to go watch it on our Instagram because it's so funny. I've got pretty much. I will be the star of this week's episode.
More than
because I've made
I think
so
at one
many things.
point I've got a good face. It's just gonna be like if I can land on it when I'm looking.
Perfect. Well, you won't have any trouble finding mine.
No.
They are from the moment you hit record.
Yours are amazing. So sometimes I think I need to make some more weird faces just to see if I can get in there.
It actually bothers me because I'm like, is this what I look like? Thank God My clients are face down 90% of the time, so that if I am talking, they cannot see what I'm doing.
Good. You don't even
I'm
have to
like,
worry.
oh, no, apparently not.
Oh
And
my.
even when they're face up, they're usually like,
Yeah.
anyway, so that's good. And there was another face for you.
Perfect. I
See?
can't wait. Oh, I'm so excited to look at that.
Oh, it's gonna be a long one this time.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyways, I'm excited. Next time we see you guys, we'll be live.
we will. Well, yeah, we will be
And
going live.
hopefully still alive.
I can't guarantee the second one. But we will be going live on. I think it was Face. Are we doing Instagram and YouTube?
We're doing
Yeah,
YouTube.
well, I
We
thought
can do
were
it on
doing-
YouTube.
Yeah,
Girl,
through the Paranormal Seekers.
we will do whatever.
Yeah.
We can do that.
And our next podcast video will be live from that location, one of those locations that we're going to, and we are going to be chatting with most of the Paranormal Seeker team other than us. So
Yeah.
we're going to be talking to a couple that have been there before and a couple that are coming for the very first time. So you're going to get two different
French meat.
perspectives. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what the newbies are feeling and what the returning ones are wanting to do.
Yeah, for our redemption tour.
Yeah. That's
I'm
not
excited.
it's not my redemption tour.
No, you're like a regular now. The spirits would just be like, why is this chick back again? Like, God damn it. You again?
Her. She just sleeps through everything. Like, Jesus.
Exactly. Oh dear.
So much fun. So much fun. But anyways, all right, guys. Have a great week and happy Easter. Because it's gonna be Easter.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah. Happy Easter if you celebrate. I hope you get lots of chocolate. But don't worry, it's half price on Monday.
Perfect.
Maybe this year. I don't know. Fucking tariffs.
Oh fuck.
But anyways. All right. Bye everyone.
Bye.